rate of perceived exertion, or RPE, and how is it used to measure intensity during running?
So rate of perceived exertion, in my way of explaining it, and this is actually after 2 training cycles that I used this process and I felt like it was beneficial, is it forces you to not focus on a pace. And in fact, the first time I did this process or used this method, I was with a group and I was not allowed to wear a watch. I was not allowed to look at my watch if I wanted it in my pocket or whatever, but I could not look at my watch during my run. And that was sort of a commitment, even though I was running alone for most of this. I was very committed to that. And so when you look at rate of perceived effort, and some people call it relative perceived effort, it's on a scale of 1 to 10. And if 1 is me sitting right here now, I'm at an effort of 1. I'm expending very little energy or effort to sit here and have this conversation. And 10 is you're running so fast or working so hard, you could not sustain it more than maybe to your mailbox or to the street, which is not how we run. Teams, coaches, a lot of people say, what is a conversational pace? And if you think about the scale of 1 to 10, that conversational pace is usually the effort of about 4. So 2 is a brisk walk, 3 is maybe a very slow jog, 4 is a steady jog, but you are certainly you're not winded, you're not expending a lot of effort, you feel good, and you almost feel like you could run all day long at that effort. And so during a long training run on a Saturday, your effort should really be about a 4 and maybe into a 5, okay? That's that conversational pace. And then as you get more into racing, such as a 5K, your effort is a little bit faster. Or if you were going to run a 1 mile, what they call a 1 mile time trial, where you're going to run 1 mile for the most part as fast as you can. And that is at a much higher effort because it's a much shorter distance. And so this is the reason I did this, and the reason I often rely on this effort kind of focus is that it allows you to be, it gives you permission to have a good day or a bad day, because today my effort of 5 might actually be faster because I'm feeling good, the temperature's good, I'm hydrated, I slept really well the night before, etc. Whereas a couple weeks from now, I'm gonna have no sleep, I didn't eat well, maybe I haven't hydrated, my body's just not feeling good, whatever it is, and my effort of 4 or 5 might actually be 30 seconds, a minute slower than what it was prior. So by doing it by effort, it takes you out of that focus of, I'm not running fast enough, I'm running too slow, I'm running too fast, all those kind of mental challenges. And sometimes it can be negative feedback, mental feedback that you have in your mind of, oh, I should have run that pace. And I didn't. So if you run by effort, and I think this is especially important when we get into the summer months, of saying, today that effort and that pace, that my effort of 4, that pace was much, much slower than it would have been if it were 50 degrees at 7 in the morning with no humidity. So the little card that I always have has humorous little symbols for what those different paces are for a 5K, for a 10K, for a half marathon, for that 1 mile time trial that you're running for your life. One of it is, I'm running from a bear and I'm not going to survive. That's your effort of 10, versus the 1 is the couch potato or laying on the couch resting. So that's I think is a good way also sometimes when you're adjusting to temperatures or you're just not feeling good, is just run by the effort. And that again helps you have a positive way of thinking about how your run was.
How can runners learn to accurately assess their RPE during different types of workouts? entering?
It takes practice. It actually does take practice. And I'm probably not always the best one because, you want to be able to sustain. So if you were gonna, go out for a 5-mile run and you want to run a little bit faster, you say you want to run at an effort of 6, you can't start out at an effort of 6. You have to be able to finish at an effort of 6. When you look at that little chart of that. So it does take practice to learn how you're feeling, your breathing, how your legs feel, your heart rate. I have never been a heart rate focused person. But I do know when I'm feeling short of breath or my heart is racing or my heart rate is a little bit higher because you can sense that. That's just your body saying, take a break, slow down a little bit. So it takes a little bit of time to work on it, but it's actually a fun way to train and run. So.
What are some common mistakes runners make while using the RPE guide or trader?
I still think that runners try to figure out what that pace should be with an RPE, and that's not the intent. The intent of an RPE is to really not worry about what that pace is and really fully run on that. Now, I don't look at my watch if I'm using it, but I may look at my watch at the end and it's like, oh, it was slower than I thought, or oh, it was faster than I thought it was going to be. But you really have to, if you're going to commit to it for a period of time, you have to allow that variability of a pace to be present.
How does, this sounds a little bit weird, sorry, but how does RPE vary between the different types of workouts? We talked about finding it for the workouts now.
I use it, I especially use it when I work out because I do work out at a gym twice a week, a minimum of twice a week and sometimes 3 times a week depending. But I will, again, if I'm lifting weights or if I'm doing cardio and I'm saying, okay, I want to push myself today, but I'm not feeling it, I'm going to back off. It's, again, one of those things if somebody says, well, let's lift 10 pounds or let's lift 50 pounds, you do it 1 or 2 times and it's like, today is not my day, then you're going to back it off and not get hurt or not, overexert. So if I'm going to push myself to a limit of 7 or 8 on a spin cycle for 5 minutes or for a 2-minute interval, then that's what that is. So.